Register for our new emergency alert system, SCP Alerts.
Signing up is easy.
So text SCP Alerts to 888-777 to get our messages.
From weather-related updates and emergencies,
to evacuations and more.
Sign up for SCP Alerts.
Because our first priority is keeping you safe.
In a natural disaster, severe weather, or local emergency, we want you to know what to do.
Through SCP Alerts, we can help you be prepared and stay safe.
Text SCP Alerts to 888-777.
When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Sign up for SCP Alerts today.
The St. Charles Parish website has a new look and a new name. Welcome to stcharlesparish.gov, the new and improved home for all things St. Charles Parish. For the past 10 months, the Public Information Office has worked with Granicus to overhaul the existing website and transformed it from top to bottom to create a more user-friendly and efficient experience. Our new site features improved navigation. As you hover over the menu items, you will see all the pages that the site has to offer. When you scroll down, the menu stays fixed at the top of the screen so that anytime you need to use it, it is right there. The Service Finder is intended to make navigation and decision-making less time-consuming for you.
Good evening. Welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, November 1st, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Pastor Thomas Hines from Hope Church in Destrehan.
Well, good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. Before I pray, I want to just say thank you to you, to all of you, just first of all, as a resident, I feel valued, and then as a leader in the community as well, I feel that our investment is valuable. And so I just want you to know that at least from my perspective and our family and the people that we're connected to, we appreciate what you do. We appreciate it, and we respect it, and I just want to say thank you. And I want to pray and just pray for God's blessing, but also it's a week we celebrate our veterans, and so just to be in here in this moment with the Champagne family, that's going to be honored as well. I value that. Father, we love you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the great opportunity you've given for us to be leaders, to be in this community, to be a part of a community that cares, part of a community that is working hard to make a difference. And Lord, I pray for these leaders. I pray for the men and women who are given their time, their effort, and energy to do what you have called them to do, what we have chosen them to do, but not just to do a job, but to do it with honor and to do it with care. And Lord, I pray continued blessing upon them. I pray for wisdom, Lord, to continue making the right decisions and the best decisions going forward as we are still very much in a recovery phase and trying to get our community back to normal. And God, I just thank you that even with all of the devastation and the chaos that came in the last few months and over the last 2 years, Lord, that you've still blessed us, and we recognize that and we honor that, and I thank you. And I pray, Lord, a special prayer for our veterans, for those families, for the men and women who serve and have served, Lord, to give us the freedom we have here tonight. And we ask all of that in your name. Amen. Amen. Would you join with me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Hines. A motion and a second is needed to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of September 7th, 2021, the regular meeting of September 20th, 2021, and the regular meeting of October 4th, 2021. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca and a second by Ms. Perrier. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Special business, proclamations, canvass returns, etc. Item number 2021-0281, in recognition, Horace Joseph and Mary Catherine Ford Champagne, family, the most military family in America. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Parish of St. Charles, November 1st, 2021, in recognition. Whereas Horace Joseph Champagne married Mary Catherine Ford in St. Charles Parish on February 10th, 1923. And whereas between 1923 and 1949, they had 14 children, 12 of which served their country as members of various branches of the United States Armed Services. And whereas son Harold Joseph Champagne served in the United States Navy during World War II and participated in 6 Allied forces landings in the Pacific Theater under the direction of General Douglas MacArthur and passed away in 2011. And whereas daughter Pearl Champagne LeRae served in the United States National Reserve, Women's Reserve, better known as the Waves, during World War II and passed away in 2018. And whereas son Alvin Peter Champ Champagne served in the United States Army beginning in 1945 aboard an Army hospital ship and passed away in 2015. And whereas son Morris Joseph Champagne served in the United States Army with the 38th Infantry Regiment in the American zone of occupied Germany and in Korea during the Korean conflict, where he was killed in action at the Battle of Hoshang in South Korea in February of 1951. And whereas son Johnny Anthony Champagne served in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean conflict and passed away in 2017. And whereas son Jerry Charles Champagne served in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean conflict, was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and passed away in 2019. And whereas son Horace Joseph Champagne Jr. served in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean conflict, was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and resides in Luling, Louisiana. And whereas son Charles James Champagne served in the United States Marine Corps from 1955 through 1957 and resides in Picayune, Mississippi. And whereas son Ronald Joseph Champagne served in the United States Navy from 1960 through 1962 and resides in Luling, Louisiana. And whereas son David Joseph Champagne served in the United States Army during the Vietnam conflict from 1962 through 1964 and resides in Luling, Louisiana. And whereas son Anthony Raymond Champagne served in the United States Army during the Vietnam conflict from 1963 through 1965 and resides in Bayou Gauche, Louisiana. And whereas son Thomas Eugene Champagne served in the United States Army during the Vietnam conflict, was stationed in Germany, and resides in Luling, Louisiana. And whereas the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs researched the historic records of military families throughout the United States, could not find another family with more siblings that served our country than the Champagnes. Now therefore be resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby commend the Champagne family of St. Charles Parish for their patriotism and commitment to duty as the most military family in America. Horace Joseph and Mary Catherine Ford Champagne family, the most military family in America. I think this is phenomenal. I mean, I have to commend the parents that raised so many kids so dedicated to their country and continue to serve our local government with the kids of these fine, upstanding individuals, and I'd like to have y'all come forward to accept the different plaques, family members and individuals.
Back up just a little bit. Jump back up. Can I have y'all back up, Miss Mary, a little bit? Just I'm gonna try to. All right. Get one more. Okay, thank you. Some may have to need.
Just understand, this is only about 1/10.
Do you want to speak? You want to speak?
Okay, well. I'm sorry, but someone's gonna have to come in. Brian, Nikki, maybe I can come in a little bit. Okay, Brian's in. Okay, thank you.
Okay, at least one of y'all has to speak.
So I had a conversation a few months ago with Senator Gary Smith. So actually he deserves a lot of credit for instigating the research into this. You know, we always knew that they had done something special. But we never knew it was this special. And you know, none of them ever bragged about their service. They're not big and boastful guys. You can see nobody even wants to speak. So, and it's but it's just amazing what they did, you know, and they even joked about it. I asked my dad, you know, passed away, and the shame is that 8 of them have died not knowing what they accomplished. So I asked him, the funny thing is, Dad, why did so many of y'all go in the military? He says, when you got 14 kids in one house, you'll do anything to get out of the house. So they made a joke about it, but they really served in some of the most historical times, you know, for our military that ever existed. So we're just proud of them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your service. Item number 2021-0239, proclamation, National Rail Safety Week. Mr. Jewell.
It's going to be hard to follow up any proclamation with that. That's probably the one that will end them all. A proclamation, whereas 1,889 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 678 personal injuries, and we're responsible for 201 fatalities in the United States during the year of 2020. And whereas 1,088 trespassing incidents have occurred in the United States, resulting in 532 pedestrians being killed and another 556 injured while trespassing on railroad property and right-of-ways during 2020. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of fatalities and injuries. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of rail safety to enforce applicable laws and support the National Rail Safety Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby retroactively proclaim the week of September 20th through the 26th, 2021 as National Rail Safety Week in St. Charles Parish and encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. There's no one here to accept this, but we do hope that our residents at home watching will help us in educating our residents about the dangers of railroad crossings and the dangers of trespassing on railroad property that have resulted in hundreds of deaths and over 1,000 injuries just in the year of 2020 alone. Thank you.
Item number 2021-0279, Proclamation, National 4-H Week. Proclamation, whereas the St. Charles Parish Council is proud to honor the 4-H Youth Development Program of the LSU Ag Center for years of providing experience-based education in youngsters throughout the state. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for the whole child, including head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Louisianians to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas its urban, suburban, and rural youth participants, ranging in age from 8 to 19, hail from diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today, wherein not for the service of its volunteers, who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and services to the youth of Louisiana. And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Louisianians, and through its innovative and inspiring programs continues to build character and to instill the values that have made our state strong and great. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby retroactively proclaim the week of October 3rd through the 9th of 2021 as National 4-H Week in St. Charles Parish, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Louisiana Cooperative Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success. Ms. Zammit, Callie Zammit, will accept.
Miss Marilyn, you want to come get in the front there? Okay. Sorry. I'm not good at this. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Callie Zammit. I know all of you here. And I just want to, first of all, thank you for your continued support. Our Louisiana 4-H theme this year is 4-H Builds. We know 4-H builds a lot. It builds character, motivation, independence, leadership, generosity, our leaders of the future, and the list continues. And this year I find that that theme is very fitting, especially for now, as we are St. Charles Parish Strong. 4-H is building, and we're going to continue to rebuild as these challenging years has brought us adversity, but has also brought us closer together. And I feel like now more than ever, 4-H is very valuable for our youth. So we learn how to use our head, heart, hands, and health to be able to build and rebuild our community to be even stronger. So I passed out a monthly newsletter. These are some of our activities and opportunities that we have coming up. As you know, we have faced the challenges not only of the pandemic, but the Hurricane Ida. We're having a little bit of a slow start getting back into the schools, but we're committed to providing continued youth development education for our students here in St. Charles Parish. So other than that, y'all all know we have moved and relocated to a beautiful facility in Sacred Heart School in Narco. So as we're transitioning, again, we're continuing to provide our youth development education for all students at St. Charles Parish. In addition to that, I would just finally like to say the opportunity we have continued to be appreciative of your continued support from St. Charles Parish government. And we would like to present a 2021 and 2020, we're finally getting an opportunity to present these awards for your continued support for St. Charles Parish government. So just kind of wanted to make sure y'all know how much we appreciate your continued support and the support of our parish to do the valuable things that we do.
Awesome.
So.
Mr. Jewell, could I get you in the middle there? There you go. Thank you. Okay, I found this is the one. Just get one more. Thank you.
Items number 2021-0280, Proclamation, Fire Prevention Week. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. A proclamation, whereas St. Charles Parish is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all of those living in and visiting our parish, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 339,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to the dangers in the event of a fire, which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarms and knows how to respond. And whereas residents who have practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas residents should make sure their smoke and carbon monoxide alarms meet the needs of all of their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas in 2021, the Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves us to remind us it's important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby retroactively proclaim October 3rd through 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week in St. Charles Parish, and urge all residents to learn the sounds of fire safety and support the many public safety activities and efforts of all St. Charles Parish volunteer fire departments and emergency services. And here today to accept that is the Fire Board Association President, Armin Burke.
behalf of the St. Charles Firemen's Association and all the fire departments and our members, we greatly appreciate you, Mr. President, as well as the board here. As it was pointed out in these things, we're getting ready to have a time change, as you know, here this month. It's a reminder of changing those batteries and those smoke alarms. It was pointed out very clearly what smoke alarms done, and I can tell you personally, it's worked many, many times for us throughout our parish and our residents. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve St. Charles Parish and the support that we get from this council and the citizens of St. Charles. And I will leave with, remember to have 2 fire extinguishers, one in the kitchen and one in the bedroom. It may save your life one day. Again, thank you very much, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Reports, finance, and administrative activities. Item number 2021-0274, South Louisiana Port Commission. Mr. Paul Oakland.
Madam Chairman, members of the council, President Jewell, thank you for this opportunity to bring you up to date on the Port of South Louisiana. Like President Jewell, it's kind of tough to speak after the Champagne family got that recognition, but heck, I'm proud to be on the same agenda, and I'll tell you this, I go to a lot of meetings, this is one I'll never forget because of that presentation. Okay, now I'll tell you a little bit about the port, which probably many of you already know this, but the port is governed by a board of commissioners. We have 9 commissioners, 3 from each parish, and St. Charles is represented by Paul Robichaud, who's our chairman, Joey Murray is our treasurer, and Ryan Burke is vice president. Okay. This is our tonnage report from 2016 through 2020, and you can see in 2017 we had 307 million tons. Let me tell you, that's a lot of tonnage. That's almost unbelievable. Last year we were at 250 million tons, and I'm predicting that 2021 will surpass that. 2021 ought to surpass 2020. Okay. That's our commodities breakdown. 250 million short tons. That was brought to the port by 3,647 ships. That's a lot of vessels. And look at the barges that bring that grain from the Midwest. 56,201 barges coming to the port of South Louisiana. People don't believe those numbers when they see people from other ports, but that's what it's all about. Okay. Our grain facilities, we have 7 grain elevators within the port district that handle 106 million short tons, and that's the names of them, ADM, et cetera, ADM, Bunge, and Zeno. Okay. Oil refineries, we have 3 oil refineries in the port district. We had 4, but if y'all recall, Shell in St. James Parish is shut down for a while. We hope they come back soon. But they handle 1.1 million barrels of oil a day. And we have 9 oil storage terminals in the port district that have the capacity to store 82 million barrels of oil or whatever else is being stored, mostly oil. Okay. Here's our top trading partners, exports, 5 top exports countries that we export to. On the right-hand side, the top 5 countries that we import from. Okay. And of course, what's going on right now is very important. They're deepening the mouth of the Mississippi River to 50 feet, which will allow the larger vessels to come into the Mississippi River and allow us to handle more cargo. Very important. Very important to the Port of South Louisiana and all of the Louisiana ports. Okay. Right in the middle of the 3 parish, 54 miles river, we have in Reserve, Louisiana, what we call the Globalplex Intermodal Terminal, which is 335 acres. And this is where we have 3 docks. One that stretches out is called the Finger Pier, then the main dock, then the Wholesome LaForge dock a little bit upriver. So we have 3 docks, and on the left-hand side of the screen, you see the tenants that rent from us, different warehouses, and you might recognize some of them. What's important for us is that the Port of South Louisiana hires about 60 employees, sometimes 65, but 315 people go to work here every day because they work for Avonics and all the other tenants that are there with their warehouses. So it's a good employment spot. Okay. We also own and operate the Port of South Louisiana Executive Regional Airport. We extended the runway to 5,100 feet. We're looking at expanding it some more. We just built a 6,300 square foot hangar last year. Then we built 10 T-hangars. They call them T-hangars for the single engine planes and small private planes. We built 10 of those. We leased them up so fast that we're building 10 more. So the airport is thriving pretty well. And I'll tell you, the industry people love it because now they can land here in their corporate jets with that 5,100-foot runway. They can land here in their corporate jets, go to the plant site, then come back to the airport and fly home. So it makes it much simpler for them, okay? Okay, we also operate a marine security operations called the MSOC building. You can see that screen in the middle. We have satellite surveillance over the entire port district, which lets us know what's going on. And every ship that comes into the river has a transponder so we can identify the vessel, any vessel that's in there. And also, we provide, you can see on the right-hand side of one of our boats, we have a fleet of 4 vessels. They're fire and rescue vessels that we operate along with the Coast Guard. Matter of fact, we're basically all the Coast Guard in the river parishes. We're close to anything that happens, so they often call upon us to go check on somebody on the bridge or wherever it may be. Okay. Here's the economic impact of the Port of South Louisiana. And these numbers are real. They were by Dr. Lawrence Scott, who was the head of the economics department at LSU, the dean of the economic department. And you can see that's some very large numbers, including sales and earnings and employment, jobs, 315, and tax revenues. Tax revenue for the region, 72 million. For the state, 310 million. Okay. Here's some of the port benefits. If you're in the Port of South Louisiana, we can help you. We can issue bonds, so we can help somebody. One of our industries are what we call stakeholders. Anybody along the river, whether it be Dow or somebody else, if they need something, we can help it by financing it for them and leasing it back. Matter of fact, many of you probably know that we built a rail yard for Dow, and that was about a $12 million project that the port paid for, and now we're leasing it back to Dow. They can store a lot of cars there. We're also the largest foreign trade zone in the United States of America. We also can provide professional location assistance, and of course the maritime security and fire protection with the fire boats that we operate, the 4 vessels. Okay. State of the port, some of the ongoing issues that we always face with day to day, high water. High water makes the current run much faster and makes it much more difficult to steer a vessel. So high water is no good. Tariffs cut down a lot of our cargo when people, there's a lot of tariffs on grains, cut down a lot of our cargo, but it's coming back up again. Then we had COVID, and then last but not least, we had Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Ida did damage just about every building on the Globalplex site that you just saw. 20 buildings were damaged, and but what we'd like to say is that they weren't destroyed. So they're fixable, and we're going to fix them. And what we're doing right now, what we call work around the damage. If there's some damage in your warehouse, work around it. So I would say we're probably close to 90% full operations right now. We're just working around the damage. Okay? And that's the Port of South Louisiana, important to our community, our state, our country, and the world. By the way, the grain that we bring to the Port of South Louisiana by barge and send out by ship goes to 90 different countries. So we do feed the world. And I thank y'all for your support. If there's anything I can do to answer any questions about the port, don't hesitate to call me. If any of you would like to have a tour of the port, don't hesitate to call me. We'll set that up as well. Any questions?
Yes, Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your biggest exporter, or the one that receives the most tonnage in export, is China. The ships that carry that out, do they bring in product before they receive the grain?
Some do and some don't. Some do. It just depends, what their schedule is. Some usually bring in. That would be the most, I guess, economical way to operate. But some just have to come here and pick up their grain and leave.
Because they're having the problem on the West Coast, and so I was just wondering if evidently if it's feasible for them to come to pick up grain. That
Yes.
might be
What's going on right now on the West Coast is there's a logjam of vessels. Everything that I've studied seems to indicate that it's because of a shortage of chassis. Chassis are this little piece of a trailer, like a boat trailer, that they put the containers on to haul them around. Without the chassis, you can't haul a container.
Well, you don't have that problem here, though.
No, we don't have the problem here. What we're trying to say is there's a lot of articles that say maybe Louisiana should be the central location for all these ships instead of the West Coast, which can't handle them. even though we may not have all the chassis necessary, we have three major railroads, Union Pacific, Canadian National, and Kansas City Southern. We have railroads, and we have barges, 50,000 barges going back empty. Let's put some containers on the barges, you see. So we're ready to experiment or explore whatever they want to do, and that's our goal right now, is to try to say, why go to the West Coast, come to Louisiana.
You talked about the river dredging, but not much of that river dredging is going to happen in St. Charles, is that right? Most of it is?
Most of it's at the mouth of the river.
The mouth
right,
of the river.
Yeah.
And for the tenants that you have, do they pay property taxes on their leasehold improvements or their inventory?
All the leasehold improvements belong to the port, and we're tax exempt. I'm given to understand that some of them do have to pay property taxes or some type of tax on cargo.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure how that works because I'm not involved.
Like an inventory tax?
Yes, inventory tax, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Not a question, just basically a statement, I guess. You mentioned that Louisiana feeds the world, and I thought that was really interesting because little old Louisiana that feeds the world probably could hold those barges that's sitting over in California.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
60% of the grain that leaves the United States to go to foreign countries, 60% of it leaves through the port of South Louisiana. So and the other 40% comes to the rest of the United States. So
the rest of the world needs to know that Louisiana is very important.
Yes, and we try to let them know that, and gradually we're getting the message across. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to, well, before I leave, everybody knows Julia is our economic developer director and does a great job for us. Thank you, Julia.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Item number 2021-0275, Department of Legal Services, Mr. Corey Wu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a presentation that Samantha and her staff prepared for us. I want to thank them for doing that as well.
Services is one of the administrative departments created by the Home Rule Charter at Section 3C3. There are currently 3 positions within the Department of Legal Services that consist of the Director, Assistant Director, and Paralegals. The Legal Department also oversees the Risk Management Office and its employees. Corey Oob is the Director of Legal Services. His staff consists of Robert Raymond, who is the Assistant Director of Legal Services, Dawn Higdon, who is Paralegal 2. She's been with the parish for almost 29 years. And 2 other Paralegal 1s, Sarah Rainey, who's been with the parish for 5 years, and Madeline Fisher, who's been here for 6 months. Corey also oversees the Department of Risk Management, whose director is Monique Grenier. The Office of Risk Management is responsible for the administration of all property, general liability, auto liability, and workers' compensation claims filed against the parish. Risk Management continually identifies and evaluates loss exposures that include financial applications of resources to avoid, prevent, and/or minimize losses at the lowest possible costs, along with many other duties. Currently, they are working together focusing on Hurricane Ida recovery. The legal department's duties are diverse and entail a variety of disciplines and skills. Planning and zoning, public works and wastewater, and counsel supply the largest workloads to legal services. Legal is also called upon by many other departments as questions and problems arise in their functional areas, but the 3 prior departments provide the most work for the department. The legal department also represents the parish president, and the parish council on all legal matters. The issues range from giving advice on proposed legislation, contract matters with the parish, risk management issues, all litigation matters, and compliance and regulation of parish matters with various state, federal, and local laws. The department is responsible for attending most planning and tactical meetings, responding to legal questions, and it also prepares documents that assist in the execution of plans and projects. The legal department also provides assistance during bids by approving the forms and contents of the contracts and other bid documents. And on questionable bids, they give opinions to the appropriate departments. The Department of Legal Services assists the Department of Planning and Zoning with code enforcement by prosecuting and enforcing these codes after judgments are rendered. This means that they make court appearances for as many times that may be necessary to correct code violations throughout the parish. As of October 26, 2021, the Department of Legal Services has opened 141 new files. Of those files, 102 are planning and zoning violations, 1 is insurance litigation, 9 are acquisitions and servitudes. And in 2021, 110 files have been closed.
I want to thank you all, and also, if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. I want to take this time first to, after Hurricane Ida, it's been a exhausting time for the legal services. Not only handling the normal course of work, but also the insurance matters that we're handling, risk management, overseeing all the property damage. I want to personally thank Mr. Raymond, who should be here, Dawn, Sarah, Maddie, and all of risk management as well, including Monique, Kevin, Roger, and Linda. They've worked basically almost 24/7 following Hurricane Ida. I know many people may not believe that, but they really have. Things have popped up on weekends. I want to thank Mr. Raymond personally for all his handling of the leases for the temporary courthouse. He was here shortly after the storm and took charge of helping the judges get the courthouse up and running, which was a very viable and necessary infrastructure for this parish. So I want to personally thank him for his time as he did that. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them.
Okay. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When a claim is filed against the parish that the insurance company is going to be responsible for, their own attorneys handle that, or do you handle that up to a certain point and then they take over?
Thank you. We've actually made a shift with President Drew's administration. We actually discussed, rather than outsource a lot of those, we have a self-insured retention. So at first, we take roles in that. We've tried to analyze the cases early on, see if we can settle them rather than outsource them to outside attorneys and spend legal fees, trying to save those costs and trying to settle cases. Once a case gets to a certain stage, though, it may be necessary to hand it over to an independent counsel. Of course, there's specialized areas, some tax issues that come up, some certain environmental issues that come up that we get outside counsel to come in early on. But primarily, we've handled those in-house. Mr. Raymond and myself have handled all those property damage claims as well as all the slip and falls on parish property and car accidents or any type of incidents involving our employees. In fact, we have 2 depositions tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2021-0276, Parish President's remarks and report. Mr. Jewell.
All right, now time for the good report. Let's do it. Okay, so last week we saw the statewide mask mandate that was set by the governor has been lifted as COVID numbers throughout the state have declined. Today I met with FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, and we discussed a couple of things regarding the recovery for Hurricane Ida, specifically direct housing, flood. We also talked about flood risk rating 2.0, and we also discussed accepting our flood maps. I'm sure that many of the council remember that the parish actually spent a good bit of money creating our own flood maps at a much higher resolution and at a much higher quality than FEMA uses to help improve flood insurance ratings for our residents. I don't know what will be done with those since they're looking at risk rating 2.0, but I still think that those maps have value to FEMA. I did ask them to look at those maps as I believe that they could help us in the future. Additionally, we asked them to recognize our levees on the West Bank. There are many models that FEMA uses to calculate your flood insurance policy, like they use for Bayou Gauche and throughout the rest of the parish, where they do not recognize that a levee is actually present and performing flood protection for those residents. So in a simple storm, they will show communities such as Bayou Gauche and Mimosa and Willowdale flooding, when in reality, the parish has spent a large sums of money, over $50 million in the last 10 or 15 years, creating levees. So I did ask them to relook at their policy regarding that, and I know I'm not the first elected official to do that. but felt the need to make that plug anyway, because we have levees in this parish that have never failed, have been here for 50, 60, 70 years, and that are good levees. And while they may not be built to core standards, they should still be at least recognized in some form or fashion by FEMA and should be recognized on our flood insurance rates. We do have an update on direct housing. FEMA is recognizing that we will need about 514 solutions for direct housing. That could be a travel trailer, or it could be a mobile housing unit closer to a standard trailer for larger families. The state has installed 37 trailers so far, and they have an additional 24 that they are preparing to place currently that are in process. Additionally, at the end of last week, I saw that FEMA had placed 4 trailers as well. If you do have questions about that, we can try to get answers for you all, but I want to remind those folks at home that St. Charles Parish is not facilitating that program. That program is done specifically through the state and through FEMA. So if you do need direct housing, you need to go to idashelteringla.com or go to disasterassistance.gov, and we recommend that you apply through both. On debris, we've collected about 970,000 cubic yards of debris. By the end of the week, we'll be over 1 million. And then we will soon be announcing an end date for debris pickup. And that will be, we will give the residents a kind of a last day to put out debris. That will help us when we go to do closeout with our debris monitor in closing out our streets. We will still have our debris collection folks in the Parish Public Works office, as well as Pelican, who will still run their boom truck service as well. But soon we'll be announcing an end date to just kind of put a finalization on this debris pickup for our residents. But we do understand that there will be some folks who got their houses probably through the end of the year, and we will have to address those as well, and we'll work with DRC on that. This Thursday is our Veterans Luncheon. We're going to host our Veterans Luncheon at the community center now. It looks like there's going to be a high potential for rain. We were going to do it outside at the West Bank Bridge Park, but we are going to move it back inside. We were able to get the community center ready this week for that event. I would ask that all of you attend if your schedules permit to help us honor our veterans this Thursday at the community center. Time for that, I believe, is 11:30 a.m. is when it's starting. All right. Also, in addition to this year, we have the Marine Force Reserve Band at the Veterans event, so we're excited to have that. On the note of jobs, on Tuesday, November 16th, we will host a job fair at the East Bank Regional Library from 5 to 7 p.m. As we look to fill 30-plus jobs. Directors and human resources personnel will be in attendance, and I will encourage anyone who's in search of employment to bring their resume and apply at St. Charles Parish. St. Charles Parish is a great place to work. We offer comprehensive benefits package, including health, vision, dental, retirement, and more. And lastly, on our sales tax numbers, we got our payments for September. The total was $3,390,514.25, which is 0.6% less than the same month last year. So definitely not as bad as we thought it was going to be. And then sales tax to date are still up about 10%. And that is it from our report. I can take any questions.
Okay. No questions. Thank you, Mr. Jew. Ordinance introduced for publication, public hearing, Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, 9 a.m. Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, 1 p.m. and Monday, November 15th, 2021, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hornville. Items number 2021-0159. An ordinance to approve and adopt the appropriation of funds for the St. Charles Parish Consolidated Operating and Capital Budget for the fiscal year 2022. Ordinances, resolutions, introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, November 15th, 2021 at 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hornville. Items number 2021-0267, 2021-0268, 2021-0269, 2021-0270. Please note the minutes from P&Z are in the supplemental agenda for the next three items. Item 2021-0271, 2021-0272, and 2021-0283. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. Items number 2021-0266, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Principal Engineering, Inc. to perform engineering services for River Point, River Village drainage improvements, project number P210805, not to exceed $128,170. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a project that we started a lot of work on prior to the storm, and we're getting back to it, and it's necessary. Right now, the existing 24-inch CMP culvert in the drainage servitude along the backyards of houses on River Point and River Village appears to be undersized for the water being directed towards it. In addition, due to the location of the inlets, drainage water is not effectively entering the system. After a preliminary investigation of the system and meetings with the homeowners, St. Charles Parish has decided that this system needs to be upgraded. St. Charles Parish desires to evaluate the system for a 25-year storm and increase capacity as necessary. The project will also evaluate the location of the drainage inlets and determine if the shift of location is necessary and whether the new inlets are required. The project will include a full topographic survey of the servitude and adjacent yards to locate all drainage inlets and prepare a map showing the surrounding ground elevations. The consultant will perform a drainage analysis for a 25-year storm and a 100-year storm. The drainage system will be sized for the 25-year storm, while the 100-year storm analysis will be used to assure homes are not flooded for the larger event. The servitude will be regraded to assure that drainage water will be channelized to the inlets. With that said, the Public Works Department therefore recommends approval of this ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a professional services agreement with Principal Engineering for the River Point River Village Drainage Improvements Project. Thank you.
File number 2021-0266 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Louis Kiefer, 325 River Point Drive, Destrehan. First of all, I'd like to thank whoever had their finger on the drain pump buttons during the last event. Water came up to the sill of our house but did not flood. It came up and just stopped and went down. So thank you, whoever kept those pumps running. But I know how much trash was in all of the culverts in the streets, because we got out there and cleaned them as soon as we could, but there was mountains of leaves from the storm. With that said, this is an improvement that we need terribly. I mean, we've flooded 3 times in the last 20 years, but twice in the last 3. And with our houses 3 feet higher on one side of us and a foot higher behind us, we need something to keep the water moving toward the main drainage of the tracks. And this would be a big help in that direction. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
My name is Bobby Fauché. I live at 317 River Point Drive. I'd like to echo everything Mr. Kiefer said. And I see a lot of faces in here that's been on my property before, and I think this is a step in the right direction. I mean, we've been flooded so many times, even just a hard rain. You're out there putting sandbags out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We need something that's going to catch this water, keep it coming from on our property, and head on out to our drainage so it can get to the big Scheck Snyder pumps. So I really appreciate everybody voting for this. I know this parish has put in a lot of work and effort, time, money, even answering my phone calls and everybody else's. So I really appreciate y'all voting for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
My name is Walter Pilier, 115 Duquesne Drive. I know these gentlemen. I actually am a person who's on a member of the East Bank Citizens Drainage Committee, and we had a meeting September 9th of last year. This very topic was brought up at that meeting. It's been a recurring problem, and so that's over a year ago. So let's take 2 months off because that's 14 months ago. And in this project, from what I see in the documents, will take about 400 maximum days. I count 375 in this proposal. But any way that this can be done to hurry up the process would be greatly appreciated. And I know Principal Engineering has a lot of the information hydrologically and perhaps even hydraulically to increase, or rather, decrease the amount of time necessary to do this job. It's not in my backyard, but I know these people, and it's absolutely necessary, so I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Ms. Kiefer said, Mr. Fauché said, it's been an ongoing problem. They've flooded numerous times. I'm aware of the problem. I purchased my first home in 1986 in the River Village subdivision. My second home in the 300 block of River Village. I can very remember distinctly in 1995, Mr. Fauché's backyard, Ms. Rose, having this same discussion with the then parish president and the developer, and thought we had it fixed, only to find out that 20 years later, it wasn't fixed. So again, thank Miles and Parish President Jewell for working through this and meeting with the people. Like Mr. Walter said, I would love to push this through. I mean, I've talked to the principal, and they know how important this is. The improvements y'all guys gave for the Sheck Snyder pump station, putting a bit larger pump, helped us. This can only make it better for these residents. So I ask you for your support.
Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is in my district, and I very much do ask for everyone's support. Miles, appreciate you doing what you're doing with this. This has been being worked on for many, many years. And still not sure if this is going to be the fix, but I'm going to support anything that we can to move this along. And we all deserve any kind of solution that we can come up with. So thank you for addressing this. And I ask, again, everyone for their support.
Thank you. Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0266. And that passes unanimously. Resolutions. Item number 2021-0273, a resolution endorsing a waiver from Appendix C subdivision regulations of 1981, Section 3, geometric standards, B blocks 3, arrangement as requested by Cheryl Meyer, Richard Hamilton, Diane Carter, and Brett and Amy Duke. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This subdivision action formalizes 4 existing lots that were platted by sale in 1992. A frontage waiver is required in order to approve the subdivision. The planning staff recommended approval. The planning commission approved the request and recommended approval to you on the waiver. Thank you.
Thank you. File number 2021-0273 is now open for public comment. If there is anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0273. And that passes unanimously. Deviation. Councilman Fisher has requested the council deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0282. The proposed resolution has been emailed to all council members and is placed at your seats. A motion and a second is needed to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0282. A resolution supporting the efforts and authorizing the execution of correspondence to representatives expressing support to quickly pass H.R. 5735, the bipartisan state, local, tribal, and territorial fiscal recovery infrastructure and disaster relief flexibility act, S. 3011, which will assist in the recovery from the devastating effects of COVID-19 within our local community, a matter not on the agenda. I have a motion by Ms. Billings and a second by Ms. Perrier to deviate from the regular order of the agenda and to take up file number 2021-0282. Is there anyone that would like to come up and speak on this deviation? Please do so now. Seeing none, public comment on the deviation is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes on the deviation only. And that passes unanimously. Items number 2021-0282, a resolution supporting the efforts and authorizing the execution of correspondence to representatives expressing support to quickly pass H.R. 5735, the bipartisan state, local, tribal, and territorial fiscal recovery infrastructure and disaster relief flexibility act, S. 3011, which will assist in the recovery from the devastating effects of COVID-19 within our local community. File number 2021-0282 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak on it, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hello. Louis Logan, 36 Brennan Hall Drive, District in Louisiana. I just want to know more information about this ordinance as far as how would it directly impact local communities.
Anyone want to comment? No? Once it comes around to it. All right, 1 second. Anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Seeing none. Public comment is now closed. That's what. Before we close the public comment, Mr. Bob? Mr. Fisher.
So I think I can answer a few of your questions. I'm part of it. So the Senate Bill 3011, okay, was passed by the Senate, and we've supported that in previous resolutions. It's the additional flexibility for another $65 billion in American CARES Act funding that we could use for infrastructure projects, transportation projects, matching funds for drainage issues, for projects that we need. So this is just a resolution supporting that House bill. Same thing, so we got 32 bipartisan senators are going to be doing it. So we're going to pass a resolution in our support of them giving us some additional funds in the American CARES Act. So we're able to realize those funds and do projects, whereas we don't have to go out and possibly bond money or borrow money to do it. So whereas we have these funds, but the federal government lists specific items that we can use it on, like surface transportation, infrastructure, waterworks. We're using some of the American CARES Acts to upgrade our wastewater systems. So this is just a resolution asking for that, for assistance, housing, things like that we can use. So They've been pretty lenient. I'm not going to say on it. They've given us specific things, and we've been able to have projects ready to get the funding and use that. So basically, this is saying, hey, we're supporting this. We're going to have our projects ready, and we would like our part of it. And it gives us a locality, a better understanding, and a better use of our funds, right? More control of what we could get. So that's what we're doing with this. We're asking for, support our House representatives. We've already sent one to our senators. So our Police Jury Association Executive Director, Mr. Comey, has been very, very active on this with his committee. Our National Association of Counties have been in Washington, and they keep us all informed. This is how we get to know these things, and they ask these for our support. So this is stuff we can channel up through the system. So it's great, the flexibility that they're offering for us for this. I mean, it's going to give Parish President Jewell the money he needs for some of the new infrastructure projects. So I hope that answered it. I don't know if I could. You can look at the House bills if you really like 3011, and then the House bill 5735 online. You can look at the specifics on it. It goes into detail on that, but generally we're going to give them the support because we think it's a good thing.
I agree, and thank you for answering my question. I just wanted to know how would it impact us locally, and how could we use those resources to support.
We'll be able to use some of those funds for like our projects, our infrastructure projects, where we would maybe possibly have to go bond money. I know we're going to use some of our Recovery Act's money for our wastewater improvements, some of our food assistance programs, some of our community affairs programs, things like that. We'll be able to use these recovery funds for that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding this item? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was under the understanding that we were going to be co-sponsors to this. Do we need to amend it to be co-sponsors or not? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Fisher, could we use this as far as lighting, street lighting? That's infrastructure.
No, it's not. It's not for that. It's for strictly for infrastructure-related activities under federal surface transportation laws. So local matches. I think Parish President Jewell could kind of give us a little bit more on it. I know he's on top of it, but
because I think that's what this young man was looking. He's looking for specifics on what you could use it for. That would benefit the people.
Look, I don't have the exact specifics on it. I know the generalities is that there is billions of dollars of unused American Rescue Plan funding that right now is prohibited from being used for infrastructure projects like the ones that these bills are trying to utilize it for. So this bill allows that, would change that prohibition to allow those monies to come down, as Mr. Fisher was saying, to be used for infrastructure style projects, like we saw with that first tranche of money that was able to use for water, sewer, rural broadband, or to fill gaps from coronavirus in government funding.
That was it. Ms. Cluley, you have anything else? That's it? Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0282. And that passes unanimously. A motion and a second is needed to return to the regular order of the agenda. A motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Fisher and a second by Ms. Billings. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0226, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. Council will confirm nomination to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Ricky Bosco. a 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. Nominee, Mr. Ricky Bosco. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Mr. Ricky Bosco to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0227, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. Council will confirm nomination to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Robert Colon Jr., a 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. Nominee, Mr. Robert Colon Jr. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Mr. Robert Colon Jr. to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0228, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. Council will confirm nominations to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Corey Fauché, 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. Nominee, Mr. Corey Fauché. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Mr. Corey Fauché to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of St. Charles. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0262, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 2 representative. Council Chairman will accept nomination from the District 2 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Randy Love. 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2021 and expire December 7th, 2025. I need a nomination from the District 2 council member, Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate Ms. Vicki Carter.
I have a nominee, Ms. Vicki Carter. A motion and a second is needed to close the nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Ms. Gordon. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0263, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 4 representative. Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 4 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Robert Price, a 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2021 and expire December 7th, 2025. Mr. Price has served 2 consecutive terms and cannot be reappointed. I need a nomination from Mr. Dufresne.
I nominate Ernie Uze.
Uze?
E-U-S-E-A.
The nominee's name is Mr. Ernie Uze? Ise? Uze. A motion and a second is needed to close the nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Mr. Gibbs. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0264, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 5 representative. Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 5 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Lori E. Brown, four-year term to begin December 7th, 2021, and expire December 7th, 2025. I would like to nominate Ms. Keandra Milligan. I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Fisher and a second by Mr. Gibbs of Ms. Keandra Milligan. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0265, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 6 representative. Council Chairman will accept nominations from District 6 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Katina Summers, four-year term to begin December 7th, 2021, and expire December 7th, 2025. I need a nomination from Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to nominate Katina Summers.
I have a nominee of Ms. Katina Summers. A motion and a second is needed to close the nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Ms. Billings. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0277, accept the resignation of Mr. Michael J. Dunn, St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission as the District 5 representative. Please cast your vote to accept the resignation of Mr. Michael J. Dunn on the St. Charles Parish Board Planning and Zoning Commission representing District 5. That be next. Can I say something about that? Can I say something about this? His resignation. I just want to say thank you. Well, we already voted. Huh? Yeah. So I would personally like to tell Mr. Michael Dunn, thank you for his time and his service that he spent on the board for planning and zoning. I appreciate so much what he did because he was such a concerned citizen. And he called me often concerning things in District 5 and things going on, even other places, as well as in a couple of subdivisions. So I want to thank him for the time that he did spend on our Planning and Zoning Board. Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Item number 2021-0278, a resolution to appoint a member to the St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission as the District 5 representative. Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 5 council member to fill the vacancy caused by the resignation of the term of Mr. Michael J. Dunn, unexpired term to begin immediately and expire May 31st, 2023. I would like to nominate Mr. Ryan Price. Nominee, Mr. Ryan Price. A motion and a second is needed to close the nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca and a second by Ms. Gordon. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. Meetings, announcements, notices, and etc. Meetings, Lafourche Basin Levy District, Wednesday, November 3rd, 21, 6 p.m., Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20, Vacherie. Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, November 4th, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Communications District, 911, Monday, November 8th, 5 p.m., Council Chambers. Pontchartrain Levy District, Monday, November 15th, 6 p.m., Pontchartrain Levy District Headquarters Complex, 2069 Railroad Avenue, Lutcher. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, November 15th, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Announcements. Governor Edwards has rescheduled the October 9th, 2021 Parish Proposition and State Constitutional Amendment election to November 13th due to the statewide state of emergency caused by Hurricane Ida per Executive Order number 2021 JEB 13. Important dates for the November 13th, 2021 election. Tuesday, November 9th, last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Early voting. Tuesday, November 2nd through Saturday, November 6th, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., West Bank Courthouse, 15045 River Road, Hornville. East Bank, the Orderberry Building, 14564 River Road, New Sarpy. Friday, November 12th, last day for registered to receive voted absentee ballot. Saturday, November 13th, Election Day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. St. Charles Parish has the following temporary polling location changes for the November 13, 2021 election. Precincts 1-2 and 1-2A from Hornville Learning Center, 626 Pine Street in Hornville, to E.L. J. Landry Senior Middle School, 108 Tiger Circle, Hornville. Precinct 2-3 from the Bible Center Church, 422 Barton Avenue in Luling, to Mimosa Park Elementary School, 222 Birch Street in Luling. Precinct 3-3, Destrehan High School, 1 Wildcat Lane, Wildcat Drive, Destrehan, to Ethel Scheffner Elementary School, 140 Plantation Road in Destrehan. Precincts 4-1 and 4-1A, St. Gertrude Education Center, 17336 LA 631, Des Allemands, to Allemands Elementary School, 1471 WPA Road, Des Allemands. Precinct 6-1, Muntz Community Center, 152 Union Lane, Muntz, to Zephyrin L. Perilou Firehouse, 17830 River Road in Muntz. Precinct 6-4, Union Hall, 601 Good Hope Street in Narco, to Narco Elementary, 102 5th Street in Narco. Precinct 6-8, Destrehan High School, Wildcat Drive, Destrehan, to Ethel Scheffner Elementary School, 140 Plantation Road in Destrehan. Revised public hearing dates to consider the proposed 2022 capital and consolidated operating budget. Tuesday, November 9th, 9 a.m., Council Chambers. Wednesday, November 10th, 1 p.m., Council Chambers. Monday, November 15th, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Parish holiday, Thursday, November 11th, Veterans Day. Destrehan Plantation Fall Festival, November 13th and 14th at Destrehan Plantation. Adjournment, a motion and a second is needed to adjourn. I have a motion by Belloc and a second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that passes unanimously. On behalf of the Parish Council, we wish everyone a happy Veterans Day and have a great evening. We are officially adjourned.